Well, good evening to you. Thank you for joining us right here on K24 Evening Edition. We begin by having a look at what is shaping news tonight. Cloud of sorrow engulfs a Panja village in Mumias East following the death of a KCSE candidate before the exams could begin as the exams enter day 2. Voting underway in most U.S. states as Vice President Kamala Harris and Donald Trump remain locked in tight race that remains too close to call. 2 men sentenced to 35 years in jail after being found guilty of waylaying and killing Benjamin Kiplagat, a Kenyan athlete, in Kimumu Estate, Eldoret.
As when we feel offended, we feel bad, we keep quiet.
Plus, ousted Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua cautions his political allies turned nemesis not to mistake his silence for weakness, noting that he would come back stronger. K24 Evening Edition begins right now. I'm Alan Owino. Our sign language interpreter for this session is Clement Muli. Now, a cloud of sorrow has descended on a Panja village in Mumias East following the death of a KCSE candidate before the exams could begin. The family claims their child passed on at the school's premises, but the school management has denied the reports. Meanwhile, a teacher has been taken to court in Kericho County on charges of exam fraud. Majibu Kisao has more on day 2 of the KCSE exams.
Sadness has filled a Panja village in Mumias East after Callistus Amboy Oteu, a 2024 KCSE candidate at St. Patrick Ebubere, passed away before the exams could begin. There are, however, conflicting reports regarding the incident, with the school management denying that the death occurred at the school, while the deceased parents claim they received the tragic news while on the farm, followed by reports that the body was taken to the mortuary at St. Mary's Hospital in Mumias.
Wakati nilifika shuleni, nikapata washapeleka Mumias St. Mary's mortuary. Mimi naomba usaidizi kwa sababu sina chochote. Na huyo mtoto ambaye nilikuwa nimetegemea yeye kwa kusoma kwake, sina chochote.
Sasa alikuwa anasema tu macho ndio inamsumbua. Lakini kuwa anasema ati mwili inauma. Sasa mimi nikajua tu atapona. Si kujua ati kumbe mtoto wangu atafarika waache kufanya mtihani.
The county's Deputy Commissioner Paul Lagat said that Patrick had been unwell for a while and that reports of him dying at school are untrue.
What I got from my officers on the ground is that the boy has been ailing. He was not in school and he died when he was outside the school. He was not even in the school. So we want to clarify the fact that the information that is in the media that the boy actually died in school is not true as far as we are concerned.
This comes even as a teacher from Kunyak Secondary School in Kipkelion West, Kericho County, was brought before Kericho Chief Magistrate Frederick Nyakundi on allegations of possessing leaked KCSE exam papers. The accused, Washington Osinde, appeared in court and denied the charges. The magistrate ordered the accused to be released on a bond of 500,000 Kenya shillings or a surety of the same amount. The case will be mentioned again on November 13th this year.
The release on a bond of 500,000, which was surety of the same amount, a cash bill of 500,000.
In a disheartening incident, 8 teachers are being held at Homa Bay Police Station for allegedly photocopying chemistry exam papers. Confirming the incident, Area Police Commander Emmanuel Kiplagat said the suspects were found duplicating a chemistry exam paper. This comes as the Kenya National Examinations Council issues a stern warning to anyone found guilty of exam malpractices. Speaking in Murang'a County, NEC CEO David Njegere confirmed the formation of a special task force to address any issues arising to ensure exam transparency.
Yesterday we had 2 cases of attempted impersonation, and thanks to the MAT agency team, the 2 culprits were apprehended, one in Nairobi and another one in Kilifi. So we are vigilant across the country. So anyone who is planning to engage in any malpractice, they can rest assured that we are going to move in and apprehend them.
With the KCSE exams underway nationwide, candidates are being urged to prepare for the remaining papers and uphold integrity, while those seeking answers through unethical means are warned of severe consequences. Majibu Kitsao for K24 TV, Nairobi.
2 men have been sentenced to 35 years in jail after being found guilty of murder by the High Court in Eldoret. David Ekai and Peter Ushuru were found guilty after waylaying and killing Benjamin Kiplagat, a Kenyan athlete who used to compete for Uganda on December 31st, 2023 in Kumumu Estate in Eldoret. In his judgment, Justice Ruben Nyakundi said the two pre-planned to execute the murder and deserved a long time in jail to serve as a deterrent to others. Timothy Simo reports.
Elizabeth Chemweno calmly walked to take the stand at the High Court in Eldoret. But a few minutes later, she was inconsolable. Chemweno is the mother to slain athlete Benjamin Kiplagat, who met his death in the hands of these 2 men, David Ekai and Peter Ushuru. The two were captured on CCTV cameras on 31st December 2023, minutes after executing the murder in Kumumu, Eldoret. Chemweno wanted nothing short of a death sentence for the killers of her breadwinner son. Her pain and tears moved the entire courtroom. And for the heinous crime, Justice Ruben Nyakundi handed Ushuru and Ekai 35 years custodial sentence.
Taking a combined evidential material, combined factors on mitigation and aggravating factors, I pass a sentence of 35 years custodial sentence.
According to Nyakundi, the murder must have been premeditated by the convicts since they didn't take away anything from the late Kiplagat after killing him.
So if accused persons of sound mind set out themselves and take the life of another, which is not recognizable under the Constitution or under the statute, then this court must rise up to the occasion and pass the appropriate sentence.
The family says they are contented with the decision of the court and can have some semblance of closure for the loss of their kin.
Kama familia tumeshukuru na tumeritika na hiyo uamuzi ya mahakama ya kupea hiyo miaka 35.
Tungependa pia kushukuru wale ambao kitengo cha DCI ambao walitusaidia, kitengo cha media ambaye wamekuwa pamoja nasi tangu kesi hii ilipoanza.
Meanwhile, another murder case involving the late Agnes Tirop will resume in February next year, with 15 more witnesses set to testify. Agnes was found murdered in October 2021, where her husband Ibrahim Rotich, now out on bail, being the prime suspect. Timothy Simwa, K24 TV.
Away from that, the killings and abductions that took place during the recent protests in the country were carried out by a special unit within the security forces. This information came to light today during a meeting held by the Parliamentary Security Committee with the Independent Policing Oversight Authority and the Kenya National Human Rights Commission. And as Brian Amwai reports, 60 people, including children, lost their lives.
The Zuma generation protests held in Kenya in June and July led to alleged killings by security officers, kidnappings and arbitrary arrest of protesters. These events will be remembered as a period marked by significant human rights violation. Appearing before the National Assembly Security Committee, the National Commission on Human Rights and the Independent Policing Oversight Authority (IPOA) revealed that police were responsible for the June and July killings, with 60 people recorded dead. IPOA admitted that a special security unit was behind many of the killings and kidnappings.
The police officers who come under your mention, from which unit of the police do they come? And I'm asking that question so that we may also know if there are people operating out of the non-established units who could be doing.
The chair, on the issue of which police units, again, very valid question. I would also want to say that this is also on case-by-case basis. There are instances which we have been able to establish that the special units we've been able to confirm. For example, not necessarily deaths, where a kidnap has happened or alleged kidnapping has happened, and we've been able to investigate, and clearly from investigation is pointing to the special units.
It's alleged that police violated the protest rights, detaining them without pressing charges.
We have an MOU with the Witness Protection Agency.
The KNHRC report also claims that the government contributed to disrupting the protests, as police were observed protecting groups infiltrating the Gen Z demonstrations.
Particularly, we want to note that on the 23rd of July, pro-government groups in motorcycles were fueled at a particular fueling station. Indeed, our officers went there, and I saw it and identified the people who were paying for the fuel. And these motorcycles, ranging in number to over 100, later on flooded the city, and they were chanting anti-Gen Z slogans. We also want to note that the police officers, the security officers, were among and protecting them.
The protest led to the death of 60 people, including 3 children and a woman. Over 1,700 people were detained without charges, including minors. KNHRC also reported 601 injuries caused by gunshots, and 25 security officers were injured during the Gen Z protests.
The rights of the children and the welfare of the children was violated, and the commission was able to secure release of 45 children who had been arrested. Actually, some of these children were held together with adults in cells, which is a violation of their right.
KNHRC also recommends that leaders of the involved agencies be questioned and that action be taken against any officers found guilty. Brian Amoy, K24.
Americans today headed to the polls to vote for their next president, with Vice President Kamala Harris and former President Donald Trump each needing at least 270 electoral votes to win. With more than 80 million votes already cast, Vice President Kamala Harris and Trump tied with 3 votes each in the tiny New Hampshire community of Dixville Notch, as polls are expected to close at the end of Tuesday. If she wins, Vice President Kamala Harris will become the first woman president of the United States. Unlike Hillary Clinton, who made gender a central part of her 2016 run for office, at a time of historic polarization, Harris chose to focus on issues of identity. Donald Trump, on his end, is taking a third swing at the seat after being edged out by President Joe Biden in the last elections, which ended up with Donald Trump being prosecuted on different counts, one of them being the January 6th U.S. Capitol Hill attack by his supporters. According to different analyses, it is said neither of the two candidates can get over the 270 electoral college votes without swing states. These are Pennsylvania with 19 votes, Georgia with 16 votes, Arizona with 11 votes, North Carolina with 16 votes, Nevada with 6 votes, Michigan with 15 votes, and Wisconsin with 10 electoral votes. Looking at the demographics, October polls indicated that young voters were divided among both candidates, with earlier months showing they favored Kamala. Women and Americans from non-white backgrounds show the strongest support for Harris, while white and male voters make up Trump's key base. The gender gap between both candidates, with more men supporting Trump and women supporting Harris, does not appear as drastic in this poll. The polls will officially close at 1800 Eastern Standard Time. Barely 4 days after Kithure Kindiki took oath of office following the ouster of Rigathi Gachagua, former deputy president has cautioned his political allies turned nemesis not to make a mistake in his silence following his ouster. As Mila Kisenya now reports, leaders from the Gema community have also come out to defend the embattled former Madeira Member of Parliament by asking the government to accord him protection from political attacks.
Days after former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua called on the government to use the same process and speed of his impeachment to expedite the Coffee Bill 2023. Rigathi is back again. However, this time, he has issued a warning over his silence and that of his followers following his ouster.
I want to tell the people of our region not to get worried. Many people are calling me, oh, what's going to happen? Please, don't worry. Our community is very unique, and many people are shocked. We expected people to go to the streets, lighting bonfires, destroying vehicles, shouting. No, that is not who we are.
Sending the alert while joining other leaders in Limuru, Kiambu County to pay tributes to Lucy Wambui Ng'ang'a, the wife of businessman Francis Ng'ang'a, who passed away after a reported botched medical procedure at the Omnicare Medical Clinic in Nairobi. Gachagua has instead persisted with his gospel of peace and unity among his followers.
These people don't know us well. As when we feel offended, we feel bad, we keep quiet. Sindio? Mutaendelea kunyamaza? Keep quiet. Say nothing. And if you feel so strongly you must express yourself, do it through song and dance. Sindio? Nyimbo tu na kunyama.
Meanwhile, Gema leaders have also come out to defend Rigathi Gachagua, whilst calling on the government and his political nemesis to go slow on him with political attacks. They have, however, lauded the president for choosing Kithure Kindiki as his choice to replace Gachagua.
Mheshimiwa former deputy president, nimeona kiti ilikuwa imewekwa hapo, uonekane uko peke yako, hauko peke yako, tuko pamoja. Umekuja kuendeleza na dada yetu. Wenye kuogopa, wacha waogope. Sisi hatutakukataa. Ulikuwa deputy president of the Republic of Kenya, vile ulikuwa former governor, vile watoto walikuwa former governor, tutaendelea kukupenda sababu ulifanyia nchi kazi. Lakini kwa sababu ya siasa mbaya, ulitolewa vile sisi tulitolewa. We feel you.
Mbilia Kisienya, K24 TV.
Well, that report by Mila Kisenya brings us to a fast break right here on K24 Evening Edition. We'll be back with more in a short while.
I know mkona talents, lakini mkona vibe. It's time to discover East Africa's newest talent. Ni mda wa Kenya kuchachisha. Anguka nayo kati toka, utuonyeshe hizi stunts zako. Africa's big